Well, for the first time, we're starting to learn just how long the coronavirus could last in Arizona and when cases are expected to be at their worst. Team 12's Jen Wahl joins us now live from the Capitol this morning. So, Jen, everybody wants to know, how long are we going to be dealing with this?
Yeah, good morning to you, Rachel. So the state's top public health officials told reporters yesterday that the coronavirus outbreak could last another 2 months here in Arizona, with cases rising through April and hospital beds filling up in May. Now, this is all based on computer modeling. The state is responding to those models, trying to get ahead of it by getting the equipment they need to take care of all of those possible patients. Right now, Dr. Kara Christ says Arizona needs double the current number of hospital beds, about 13,000 more, and double the number of intensive care unit beds, about 1,500 more. And there are just 1,000 ventilators statewide. Christ wants to boost that to about 5,000. Now, we're told work is being done to obtain that equipment. Dr. Christ was asked what the models show about potential coronavirus cases and deaths, but officials would not say yesterday. Instead, they reinforced the fact that they are trying to get ahead of this.
So we're watching all of the potential modeling.
And in closing, the idea is to reduce the number of deaths, reduce the number of illnesses.
So you just heard Governor Doug Ducey step in right there. The latest numbers in Wednesday's report from the Arizona Department of Health Services show there are now 401 cases of COVID-19 in Arizona, and 6 deaths so far are being reported. And yesterday morning, we learned that a doctor at Phoenix Children's Hospital has tested positive for coronavirus. Now, PCH says the doctor is self-isolating and recovering at home. Phoenix Children's says everyone who had contact with the doctor has been notified, and so far, no other staff members or patients have shown any symptoms. And we're, of course, still being asked to keep our distance, wash our hands. Coming up here at 9 a.m., we do expect another update from the Arizona Department of Health Services on coronavirus cases here in Arizona and Maricopa County. Stay with 12news.com and the 12 News app for the very latest. Back to you.